So the first thing we want to do is get to work on our squash. So I'm using delicata squash today. So I have cut those in half and I've scooped out all the seeds. Delicata squash is kind of somewhere between a winter squash that's nice and hearty and kind of a zucchini. You can actually eat the skin. It roasts up really nicely, so you don't have to peel it. Because one of my least favorite things in the world, peeling squash. Stinks. It's slippery, it's hard. We don't want to do that. So I've just sliced that into thin little slices, half moons, and I've got those down on a sheet pan. Now I'm gonna season this up. The first thing I'm adding on is about a tablespoon of thinly sliced sage. Now, I love sage. First off, fun to touch. It's the only soft herb that exists, but it's a really great herb. When we are in Italy, there are sage bushes where we stay that are literally the size of a car. It's amazing. So anytime you need a little bit of an herb, you go out with your scissors, you grab some, you're good to go. They're buzzing with bees all the time, even in the middle of winter. But it's really, really nice. If you didn't have sage or you don't love it, you could also sub this out for rosemary. You just want to use some sort of woody herb. Even thyme would work. You don't want to use basil on here though, because it tends to go really dark when you roast it. This crisps up and gets really, really nice. So I'm gonna add that onto the squash just to flavor everything up. I'm gonna go on with a little bit of oil just to get that nice and coated. While I'm going on with the oil, I'm gonna season that up with some salt, as well as a little bit of pepper. And then my very favorite flavor when it comes to squash is a little bit of nutmeg. Now I don't have a pocket today, so I'm just going with a regular nutmeg. Never has this one seen a pocket. And I'm just gonna grate that right over. I love fresh nutmeg. It's one of my favorite flavors. It's just a little bit lemony and warm. It's not gonna make this taste like a donut. It's just gonna give it really nice flavor. Gonna give that a little bit of a toss just to combine. And I wanna pop that in a 425-degree oven for just about 25 to 30 minutes, flipping halfway through. That's gonna get golden, it's gonna cook down and be absolutely beautiful. So while that starts doing its thing, we're gonna get to work on the dressing. So for the dressing, I've got in this bowl a lemon that I've juiced, and I'm gonna go in with 2 shallots that I've thinly sliced. Now what I'm doing here is I'm lightly pickling these shallots just to give them a little bit of that flavor, pull back on the sharpness of them. It's also gonna infuse that lemon juice with a little bit of shallotiness, which is gonna be really great. Add in the lemon zest as well. Perfect. And give that a stir. Season that with a bit of salt. And I just wanna set that aside for about 5 minutes. Again, just to lightly pickle those shallots and kind of pull back on that spiciness. So while that does its thing, we gotta talk nuts, because I love nuts. They're always good, right? Yeah, I'm feeling it. Now, I'm gonna do walnuts today, but you could do pecans, you could do hazelnuts, you could do pine nuts even. That would be really nice. I've got a pan over medium heat, and I'm gonna go in with a half a cup of chopped up walnuts. Then just to give a little bit of a nod to Canada, I'm going in with 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. You gotta do it. We do the best maple syrup in the world, and you can already hear that sizzling, so good. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of nutmeg just to mimic those flavors, and then season that up with some salt and a little bit of pepper. Now you wanna cook this down over medium heat for about 2 to 3 minutes, just until that syrup starts to get a bit tacky. Once that's done, set it aside on some parchment paper, and it's gonna dry and get a little bit crunchy. So those are looking beautiful. I'm gonna pop these over here. And we're gonna finish up this dressing. So I'm gonna remove those shallots from this lemon juice just as much as you can, because that's gonna be a little bit of a topping for this salad. So anything you don't get, don't worry, it's all going to the same place. But we're gonna build the dressing in that flavored lemon juice. So the first thing we need is a bit more acidity. I'm going in with 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. You could also do red wine vinegar, but you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever you got hanging around, add that on in. Then again, just to nod to the maple happening in those nuts, gonna go in with about a tablespoon of that maple syrup. Season that with a bit of salt. Already did that, but I'm going in with more salt, a little bit of pepper. Give that a whisk to combine, and then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Dijon mustard. Just about 2 teaspoons is gonna bring this all together, make it real nice. Then I'm gonna go in with a bit of oil, just about 4 or 5 tablespoons here, just to bring that vinaigrette together. Looking beautiful. All right, now, we need to talk radicchio. I know a lot of people don't love a bitter green, but listen, you're wrong. They're good, they're delicious. Now, typically when you get a radicchio in the grocery store, they kind of look like this. Dark purple, they're tight, they're kind of round. This is gonna be a bitter radicchio. They come in a bunch of different types. They're a chicory plant, so they are a little bitter. You can get ones that are beautiful and look like this, light green. But if you are a little nervous of bitter, go for this one. This is a Treviso. The longer the shape, the less bitter they are. So it's gonna be a little crispier, a little fresher. I, though, love that bitter radicchio. So I'm gonna grab my squash, and quick as a bunny, put this baby together. Now, another thing that pulls back on the bitterness of this salad is we toss everything together on this pan while it's hot. So I'm gonna get that radicchio that I've torn up, pop it on there, get a little bit of this dressing and put it right on top. Again, while that pan is still hot, give that a mix to combine. And you'd wanna toss this a little bit more. That radicchio is gonna wilt down. You know, I was gonna plate this on a plate, but I think I'm doing it on this sheet pan today, I'm not gonna lie. Gonna go on with those shallots, sprinkle those all over top. You've got that purple, you've got that yellow, a little bit of those candied nuts scattered all over top. Absolute dream. And then last but not least, you know me, I can't say no to some cheese. So I've got some Pecorino shaves right over top. Look at that salad.
Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.